Hi folks, as requested I'm going to do a step-by-step video of how to create the casing for the battery and the PCB. It's a really good idea to draw out the components first. You don't have to draw them out like this. In fact, I'd actually recommend you draw them out just as blocks. I've just put them on here so that kind of as a visual reference for you. I've also had a go and just modeled this. This isn't really a neat model, and there's no sort of screw holes for the self-tapping screws, but you can see here that I've got a lid and there is a slot in here for this lid to go to. I'll just zoom in on that. As you can see, it's not perfect. I'm missing a bit of the wall there, and that goes in there like that, and this will kind of go in there like that. The reason being is that I didn't want to actually have, I wanted to have this all come together in this sort of step formation, but I didn't want to have like a sort of a screw going down into the PCB, and I just thought it would be, I'm always trying to think of like using less material. So there's a preview of what we want to make. It's got holes in it for the LED cables and also for the push to make switch cable to come out. Let's jump straight in. Okay, first thing is measurements. This is 53 by 26 by 17 height. Those are the measurements that I kind of managed to get when I was using the vernier caliper to look at the various components in the workshop. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy that, and I'm going to make up a little kind of resource bank here of things that I create. What I'm going to do with this first of all is take this and copy it again. Control C and Control V shortcuts. I'm going to make this one into a hole. This one I'm going to increase by 2 all around. I'm going to make that 30 by 57 because I want the casing wall thickness to be 2 millimeters, which is, I think, thick enough. Right, okay, so that's that. So what I'm going to do first of all, so I'm just going to put these two together and align them. We're using a lot of align, a lot of copy and paste, so just be ready for that. And I'm going to just select everything and group them. So there we go, we've got our casing straight away for the 9-volt battery, which is brilliant. What I want to do as well is I'm going to be cutting slots into this. Indeed, I'm going to put it in a slot. I'm going to just paste in my box again, and I'm going to make this a hole, and I'm going to make this gap here big enough for the cables to come around, which would be, let me see, I'm going to make it 4 wide, and we can just make this distance here, we can make that 2, and we're going to just place this over here, and I'm not going to have it up all the way because remember I need to have these slots in this side, so I'm just going to have this maybe at a height of also 3. Okay, so that's a little gap in there for the cables to be fed through. You could maybe even make that a little bit, make it a little bit bigger, make it 5. Yeah. Alright, so I'm just going to group that again. So there we go, we've got a little kind of like a door for our cables to go through from the top of the battery snap. This thing here, the cables will come out, we can kind of tuck them around and they'll come into the casing for the PCB. Right, the next thing I want to do is I want to add in the little part of the casing for the screw to go into. So I'm just going to make this 17 high. I'm going to make the whole thing 6 by 6, and I'm going to put a cylinder in as well, and I'm also going to make this 6 by 6. I'm going to make this 17 again. Okay, and then I'm going to just lastly, I'm not even going to put that in, I'm just going to copy this and paste it, move it away. You can use the direction keys if you find that the symmetry is changing. That's not a bad idea. I'm going to make this 2.5 by 2.5, and first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to center these two. Because before I didn't do that and it looked a bit sort of off so we want this all exact as possible. I'm going to just also center these without grouping them, and you'll see why in a moment. Right, okay, so this, I'm just going to zoom in on this. You have to pan by using shift and the right button. Pan is, just found that out the other day, it's really helpful. I'm going to use the direction keys on the block and select the block. Okay, yeah, come off of the line. 1, 2, 3. Love that. On Tinkercad, actually, it is each of those direction keys is like 1 millimeter, so it's nice and exact in that way. I'm going to ungroup everything, and we're going to end up with that hole again. And the reason I'm ungrouping is that I want to actually cut through that block as well. So I'm going to, in actual fact, for that, I think I might just take this in 1 millimeter. Let's make it 2 millimeters. Let's make that 4. Yeah, I think I prefer that. It's going to come off of the casing a lot less. You'll see in a moment. So I'm going to cut through the rectangular prism as well as the cylinder. I have to ungroup everything and then regroup, and then that hole cuts through both. Okay, let's look at that top side. I have to go back to it this way, and that's all nicely lined up. Brilliant. Okay, I'm going to copy this and paste it, and use the direction keys to pull it away. I'm going to zoom out, and I'm just going to place one of these. Zoom back in. Oh, this is the problem, you actually have to zoom in quite a bit, otherwise you might end up distorting the shape, which is very easily done. Just you have to grab it somewhere where it doesn't sort of switch on one of those nodes. Right, brilliant. Okay, this is the wrong way round, so I'm going to just rotate that 90 using the keypad. And also what I'm going to now do is I'm going to align these two. And what I want to do is I want to get this actually on the other side, so I'm going to rotate this around. Actually, I think I will bring this over to here. Let's use the arrow keys. Through the shape it goes, and I'm going to turn it around again. 90, 180. Great. Okay, that's all lined up, so I just need to get the two to meet. Have they met? Using the shift key again, that pan tool is really handy. Okay, I think they are just about to meet. Is that met? It is. I'm just going to take that away. Yeah, that's touching. I want to just line them up again, so I've moved them around quite a bit. Yeah, they need to be centered. Okay, I'm happy with that. Let's take the whole thing and group it. Lovely. So that is the first bit of our casing done. We're going to have to add to this, but first of all what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy it and paste it. I am going to actually what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to change the height to 2 millimeters. So I'm just going to take it from below, and let's see if this works. You have to kind of go beneath it, and I'm going to take it up. Oh, and that slot has moved with us, so that's kind of distorted it. Okay, I was trying to get out of doing this, but I'm going to actually have to ungroup things. Ungroup it again, and I'm going to have to just select that slot and delete it. Okay, right. Once I do that, I can just regroup everything. There's not going to be any problems with the symmetry of those holes after I've regrouped it. So I've just gotten rid of that hole. So what I'm going to do next is I am going to now drop this down to 2. And what I want to do is actually ungroup it again and again. And I want to get rid of that hole. So I'm going to select that hole and pull that up, undo. not the outside shape. Let's see if I can get that hole. There we go. Let's delete it. And we're going to regroup. Nice. So this we can use for our base, and we can also use this for our lid. Right, so the lid has got a slot in it, and that makes it slightly more complicated. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add a bit of material to the end of this box here, and I'm going to add a sort of a lip underneath on this so that we can use that. That will have to fit inside of the shape of this box, so that's going to be kind of tricky. So I'm going to copy this. I'm actually just going to put this over to the side, so alongside our other components or other bits of the assembly, and I'm going to copy this again, and this time what I'm going to do is I'm going to raise this up 2 millimeters, okay, to the thickness. I'm going to just align these two, center them. I don't need to, and I'm going to move this one back 1, 2, right? Okay, brilliant. So that's sort of starting to look like a lip that will go into something, okay? But what we need to do, what we need to consider, is there's some bits of this that we should really actually get rid of. So I'm going to actually ungroup this, and actually I think what I'll do is I'll take this away first. I'll ungroup this, so this is now ungrouped, and I'm going to delete away the extra things I don't need, like that. And let's put it back together. Let's group it again. I should have done this in the first place. And actually, before I do that, I'm going to be fitting this actually inside of this box. So I'm going to change the measurements first from 30 to 26. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to center them again. So I should have done all of this before I aligned them in the first place. And let's put them together. Now, this is trying to center to the entire thing, so we don't want to do that. So what I'm going to do is come off of a line. I'm going to get them to go together at this end. So let's just try that with the line. Go to that end. Good. So that's now sort of flush. And what I want to do with this is just move the top bit back 1, 2. All right, and that's going to fit inside of here nicely. Okay. What we need to now do is add some material to this. Alright. Okay, so let's just take this out. And I've actually just realized something as well about the height of this. So I'm going to actually, because this is going to go down into the box 2 millimeters, I need to raise this up by 2. So I'm going to make that 19. Okay, that's made that a bit bigger, I don't really mind. Okay, because when that sort of squashes down the battery inside of this box, that will still be a clearance of 17, which is the clearance for this. Alright, great. So what I'm now going to do is raise this entire thing up 17. Okay, so let's go 17. And let's bring this over on top and see how that works. Okay, that's good. Okay, great. Okay. So yeah, what I need to do is I'm going to need to add on a little sort of sandwiched piece of material at the end, so that I can kind of create a slot for that. That's really not a problem at all. I'm going to just select this, I'm going to copy it, and I'm going to just ungroup everything, get rid of this bit here at the end. Oh, undo. Okay, let's try that again. Can we get rid of this? Yeah, brilliant. And I am going to take this, I think let's ungroup it again, and we can take this and ungroup it again, and now we've got this hole again, which is what I want to now play with. If I can select it. I think that's it. Brilliant. So I'm going to now make this 57, and I'm going to make the width, actually I don't want to make that 57, I'll undo, sorry. I'm going to make the width of this is going to be 55, so that's going to knock out the back bit there, and I'm going to make this way 30. Alright, good. And I'm just going to move it over 1, 2, that way, and that should, if we do this, when we group it, leave me with that extra slice. Brilliant. That is going to go there, but what I want to do is I need to add a little bit up there as well. So I think what I'm going to do is firstly I'm going to take this and make it higher. So I'm going to go up another 2. Undo. 1, 2. Okay, that's going to make that like a little taller. I don't really mind about that. So that's now fitting in nicely. Okay. We need that slot in it. Okay. So I'm going to take a box, drop this in, and I'm just going to check the measurements of this one. So that was, I can ungroup it to look at the measurements actually, that's what I'll do. So this one is 30, I want this one, ungroup it again. This one was, actually I'm going to undo that because I think that will end up messing with the symmetry too much. The entire thing here is 30, so this slot here is 26. 26. And it's 2 millimeters. So that's actually 2. And what I want to do is I want to place this in this, center it. Okay, great. And what I'm going to do with this box now is I'm going to raise it up to 17. Great. Okay, there's my slot. I don't have to worry about the length of it, that's absolutely fine. And I'm going to group it. Now I'm going to keep this separate because this is going to be the sandwich bit between the two before I group everything back together. Okay, that's going to be the sandwich bit between the casing and the PCB. Okay, that's pretty much the casing done, except for this bit. I'm going to copy this and I'm going to place it over here. I'm going to take it back down to, actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to ungroup it. Now there's several ways you could do this, it's absolutely fine. Whatever way you prefer, you can do it your own way. I'm going to ungroup it and keep on grouping it until we've got like all separate pieces. All I want is the base, so this is all ungrouped. So I'm going to get rid of everything else that I don't need. Oops, hang on. Good, good. You could actually do the base afterwards. I think might be best because then we've got a footprint from everything. So I'll just have to remember to do that. I think it would be easier. We just want to move on. Right. Okay. So it's now the turn for the PCB. So let's have a look at that. The measurements of the PCB, I've put them down as 35 by 33. The height of the PCB is forgot to measure that, so I looked online and it was 0.7 of a millimeter. I'm not exactly sure if that is the correct measurement, but what I'm going to do is I'm just going to create something for, you know, the actual size of the rectangle of the PCB so it fits in there nicely. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to copy it, I'm going to paste it, put this back over here, and what I'm going to do next is I'm going to place this and I'm going to copy this again. I'm going to do exactly the same thing as I did before. I'm going to add on 2 millimeters to each side, so that's going to be now 39 by 37. I'm going to change the color of it so it's red, and I'm going to make it, let's see how high I think I want to. So that's going to be sitting on top basically. I'm going to make this we'll make it 10 high. That's just sort of nice and easy. And what I'm going to do next is I'm just going to make this also 10 high, 10 fine, and I'm going to turn this into a hole, and I'm going to get the two together, aligning them. Yep. And I'm going to group that. There we go, we've got our sort of casing, and it's interesting to see this is slightly kind of different sizes, but that's okay, we can just align everything. I'm just going to move this off for now. And also we've got to remember we've got that gap in between. So what I might do is I might just line this up now to start with. Okay, that's dead on. And I'm going to just do this, and I'm going to ungroup this. So ungroup it again. Oh, I see. And ungroup it again. Okay. Oh no, we've regrouped it. Apologies. Okay. Alright. I'm going to just move this forward so I can see what I'm looking for, which is this. And I'm going to make this 10. Alright, and great. I'm going to move this back in. And what I'm doing is I'm kind of cutting that door for the cables now through both of these. Just going to move these out of the way so they don't get affected. And I'm going to just group everything. Voila. So that's that door is slightly bigger than the other one because it grew proportionally when I did the other thing. One last thing I want to be doing actually, I want to take this, I want to copy that, and I'm going to ungroup that again, and I'm going to just get rid of these bits here. I'm going to pull this away with, I'm going to pull this just, I'm going to ungroup everything. Come on. Okay, great. I'm going to just delete these bits away. I don't want to. I still had everything selected. That's better. There we go. Just delete those things away. And I'm going to regroup this. Okay, that's still got my door in it, so I'm going to undo that. I'm just going to get rid of that door. I don't want that anymore. Just delete that. Do that. Great. And also, I am going to get rid of the inner box, and that is going to be my lid, which I'm going to make as 2 millimeters. So I'm going to bring that up. Let's have a look. I have to kind of go below it, don't I? Yeah, to get that, grab that from below. Make that 2 millimeters. I'm going to raise this up 2 millimeters, and now that's going to slot on very nicely. I think I might have forgotten to put a screw at the end, so I'm going to do that. So I'm going to take my component here, copy that, paste it, just bring it over using the arrow keys, it's less hassle, and I'm just going to turn that 90 degrees. That's aligned now correctly. And I'm going to bring this over to here. Zoom down. Alright, I think what would be nice is if we take these two and we align them. Okay, that's centered. Great. And are they touching? No. That's fine. We can just move this one over. Trying to align it with itself, so it's getting a bit confusing. Is that actually over? Let's use the shift. It would come over. It actually kind of looks as though it's chewing into it a little bit. Oh, no, I think that's dead on. Let's look at the top version. Just pan over. Looks okay. I'll just kind of move it forward. Move it back. Yeah, that's fine. Oh, it's saying 0. Okay, I want to make that 0. Can I 0 that? Okay, is that good? That looks fine. Just check again with my aligning. Yeah, it's grayed out. It's perfect. It's so brilliant, this program. It's so intuitive. Right, so I'm going to just drop the height of this down to meet that, which is 12. Brilliant. And I am going to group these two. And I'm going to move this over here. So that's all lined up nicely. And I am going to now ungroup these. And I am going to copy this. I didn't mean to copy the entire thing, I just wanted to copy this. Copy paste, thank you. And I'm going to bring this down by 2. I'm going to select this and I'm going to bring this up by 10. I have to kind of get around to it. Come on. Use the shift button again. And like I say, at any point in time you want to, just take a break. I'm just going to power on through this because I want to get it done. Alright, great. I'm going to just move this in. 3. Kind of synchronizing. Shift. Okay. It looks like it's proper. Okay. I'm going to group this because that was already all aligned. And I'm going to just check this to this with my alignment. It's grayed out, it's perfect. And let me just check it from this side. Aha, it's gone in a bit too much. So I'm going to check the alignment by just bringing that out a little bit. Yep, perfect. So you use those corner kind of circles to bring it right to the very end of this line. Okay, I'm going to take this box, I'm going to take this bottom bit, I'm going to group them. Okay. Oh, I just ungrouped. Apologies. Just once again, take this and group it. Lovely. Right, okay, so we're doing really well here. What I like about this bottom bit is that I don't actually have to create an inner lip. What I'm just going to do is extend part of this lid here to go through a gap here, which I'm going to use this to create again. So what I'm going to be doing is ungrouping this. Okay, come on. Ungroup. Okay. Alright. Now, let's undo that. This thing is starting to get a bit in the way for me, so I'm just going to actually make this, bring this all the way back. Let's see, I'm just going to try deleting it actually, and I'm going to bring this all the way back. So what was that? What did we start with? This was 57. Let's make it 2. Yeah, I think that's much better. Because every time we ungroup that, it's kind of like problematic. Great, so now I can kind of see this. So you can make changes as you go along. You know, don't be afraid to kind of improve your workflow by kind of having things on there. I'm going to just align this, snapping it to, and I'm going to bring this down to the other thing, which I think is 12. Is that correct? Oh, it's sitting on top now, so I can bring it down a bit further, sink it into the material at 10. Brilliant. Okay, this is going to serve two purposes. First one is I'm going to copy this and this, put these two together, copy, take them away. Oh, undo, excuse me. I'm going to just copy this, and I'm going to just place it back in on top of the other one. And I'm going to shift copy, or shift select this, and I'm going to drag that away. So I just did that to place everything together. And what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to select this and I'm going to make it a solid. I'm going to take this and this, and we're going to group it. So I'm copying and pasting. I'm going between the solids and the holes, sort of. So that is going to fit in perfectly. I'm going to just select everything here. I'm so happy actually I got rid of the other thing. We've got all that selected. I think we're going to group that. It's going to work. Yes, we need to grab this again, and we need to group this again. Group. Yep. Oh, we lost our hole there. So if we just take everything here and group everything together, then that hole should go through. Just trying to group everything. Good. Let's group everything. Yay, the hole's gone through. Right, so at this point in time, let's just take a quick refresher of what we've got so far. We've got the lids, we've got the two bases together. What we need actually is some screws, screw holes, or some screw fittings which go on the side of this. I'm going to join those on now to save myself time later. So I'm going to grab this again, I'm going to copy it, I'm going to paste it, I'm going to bring it over, and I'm going to just center this thing all together. So let's just center it, align I should say. So centered it there, and let's get that to go together. Oh, okay, it doesn't like that, so that's fine. I'm just going to bring this back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Back 1 or 2. I want to try doing something. Mirror this that way. Perfect. And let's just drag that over. Oh, undo. Copy that first and then we'll mirror it. Lovely. And over you go. So the mirror is quite a nice little function. Yep, that's nicely on there. And I'm going to actually make these both smaller so that screw can definitely go into that material. At the moment they're 17 height. If we're tapping with screws which are let's say 5mm, then we should really kind of think about like going into the material. The material thickness is about 10mm, so I'm going to just bring this down, and I'm going to make this 2.5, so that'll be halfway in. Okay, alright, so that's going to be able to, we're going to be able to screw that to the material. I think what would be good actually we could have one on either side. On this other design I did have one on either side. Let's just maybe have one there, because if we want this actually sitting flush like sideways, I think I'm going to take this one away in actual fact, and I think I'm just going to copy that one and I'm going to place this, let's just move it out, and I'm going to place that over on that side. So I'm going to just have them both on one side. I'm not going to have them, so let's group these all together. Great. And let's just do this. As well, I've just remembered something as well. We've got a base that we need to consider. So I'm going to ungroup that again. And I'm going to make these smaller, like less high, I should say. So let's take that down. We're just going to say 1. Oh, because the base is going to be 2 mil, so I'll say this is going to be 0.5. Okay, great. And I'm going to do the same with this. 0.5. Oop, hang on. 0.5. Brilliant. Okay, so let's take this over to this, to this. Let's align them. Jolly good. Let's have a look. Can we take that over to the other side? There you go. Alright, yeah, you're over there already. Now let's just move that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6. Great. Okay, let's join this up. Great. Combine. And I think we're starting to look pretty done. Actually, this is pretty good. Thanks for sticking with me. Is this all joined up? That's not joined up. We need to combine this using the group. And let's, historic moment here, let's join these two together. So let's align them up. Perfect. Oh, not perfect. We want to actually have them both that way. And we're going to just join them sort of quite together. I think I'll just use the arrow keys. So I always go too much and then I go like maybe one back. Is that alright? Is that fitting in nicely? Let's have a look. Ooh. And he's forgotten something. That's okay, I'll do that in a minute. That gap's disappeared. Oh dear. We'll sort that out in a second. Right. Cool. Just want to check the geometry. I'm going to go top side. Top side and zoom in. Using the shift button, just pan over. Yeah, that looks all fine to me. It's all joined up. Hole looks good. Brilliant. Okay, good. Alright, yes, so I've lost my slot. Lost the slot, lost the plot. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this bit of the lid, I'm going to ungroup it, or in actual fact I'm not going to do that. I'm going to leave that be. Is that all still together? Yes. I'm going to take this and I'm going to ungroup it. Hopefully this works. Okay, let's ungroup it again. And again. Great. Nice. Okay, so I'm now going to group it all together, and that slot should hopefully appear in this block. So let's just group this all together. It's thinking about it. Hopefully it doesn't crash. Let's have a look. Perfect. In actual fact, that's gone all the way through. I don't really mind. I don't think that's going to cause us any significant difficulties when it comes to 3D printing. So that lid will slot on there perfectly. That lid will go in there perfectly. All that remains for us to do is to put a base on this. So I'm going to just once again select everything, copy it, and there's going to be some bits which I'm going to have to delete. So I'm going to get to that Really all I want is the footprint from this, so I need to make sure that I am kind of very, just being quite selective with what I delete. So I'm going to go on, and I think the middle bit's going to present a few issues in terms of the symmetry, so I'm just going to zoom in on this. Okay, it's kind of tricky now, there's quite a lot on the page, so let's just move this out of the way. Okay, move this a bit more central. Okay, pan over a bit more. Great. Okay, so I'm going to just ungroup things again. Once again, I'm very happy that I got rid of certain bits and pieces. Okay, and I'm just going to go in and start deleting stuff. This is great fun. Select away from everything first. I've made that mistake a couple of times. Select away from everything first, because that way you might just delete everything by mistake. Right, I think this looks alright. Oh yeah, we need to get rid of, ungroup that, ungroup it again, ungroup it again, and get rid of that box in the inside. Good. Right, we kind of want a solid shape, don't we? Okay, this bit here, oops, just this bit here, which is kind of ungrouped itself, probably because it was selected later on in the tree of things. Just going to try, oh, undo that. I'm just trying to select this. So if I just go in selectively and do that, can I group that? Yes, great. Okay, now the reason why I wanted to just circle grouped. Let's just check to see if this is grouped as well. Yeah, I just probably just draw a square around this bit. Yeah, great, group it. Perfect. I just want to make this the same height as that first. And you'll see why I'm doing this in a moment. I want to make this also the same height. I'm going to make this, is this 10? Let's have a look. Yeah, it's 10. That's perfect. So I'm going to make everything 10. I'm going to have to do the same thing for selecting and grouping these things again. Group them. Nice. And I'm going to have to use the pan button. Thank you for bearing with me. This is actually, kind of a bit more complex than first sight. So I think it was a really good idea me doing this video. Can I just select that? No, it doesn't want me to. Use the pan button again. Come around, just grab that without touching the square. Good. Let's group. Yep, perfect. Okay, I'm going to make the height of everything 10, just to even everything out. Okay. That's not a good sign. I wanted to make everything 10 because then I could level everything down to 2 after grouping it. Okay, I think I've kind of hit the max from my processor at the minute. So I'm going to just take a little pause there. But after I've made everything 2mm, what I want to do is to, here we go, something happening here. I want to group everything together, and then I'll raise the entire assembly up by 2mm. But before that I need to actually cut some holes using the cylinder option to cut some holes into the side of the PCB box. So I think my computer is sort of shutting down a little bit, so I'm just going to stop this video here and pick up in a few minutes.